Hey, you all. It's a new year. We're going into a new year. I hope you all hear me. We're going into a new year. And I just left this content creators platform. I don't even know that gentleman's name. He's really not into the carnal church stuff. He has been hit up so much by so many people concerning this church stuff. And, and he was going through the history. Let me say this. When people start off exposing things in the church, it was for a noble cause. And I still think that things need to be reported in the church, just like things are reported on the news. But it has come to the point now where things are almost bent on extortion and maliciousness and power, and people are doing things behind the scenes. People are trying to make things happen. And this year, I think we really need to use our logic and our spiritual eyes, because I really do think that a lot of these content creators are trying to shape and control people, and they have power and they're not using their power like they should. Like they should. Um, this young man talked about Larry Reid. He talked about Manasseh Prophet Jordan, TD Jakes, Jives, and William McCrae. And I like a couple of those people still mentioned. I really did. Um, I have worked with Jives. Jives is cool people for the most part. We don't have any issues. I watched Larry Reid when he came up. He was with Buddha and William McCrae. And I'm gonna say William McCrae was the first person that I really saw touching on church issues. But it came at such a malicious cut. It was so tabloid. It was like the Enquirer. Larry Reid was talking about church stuff, but not on the scale of William McCrae. And Jives, I really respected Jives because he really uncovered some stuff within Kojic Church. And I really think that Jives was like, hey, we got to do better. We got to do better. We cannot be fleecing the people. And I think to this day, he still does that. Yeah, he does a lot of cursing and stuff, but to this day, he still does that. And so um, I'm looking at what's going on now. And what's going on now are not it, let me say this. I don't watch TD Jakes. I don't watch a lot of televangelists or people who are mega church-ish. I don't. That's just my personal liking. So I am not pro TD Jakes and I am not anti TD Jakes. But I am tired of people shaping narratives about folk. Now, if you have that information about TD Jakes, and if you have evidence that he has done what you claim he has done, you either need to produce that evidence, have a lawsuit, and go to the police department and turn that stuff over. Because what I see people doing now is really trying to ruin someone's reputation. I saw TD Jakes at that Diddy party. The man was dancing. It's nothing wrong with him dancing. Unfortunately, it was at Diddy's party. No, I meant prophets. I meant prophets. I meant exactly what I put down there. I know how to spell prophet quite well, but I meant what I put down there. And I intentionally did that. I intentionally did that. Now, Casmer said one of the content creators has received their lawsuit paperwork as of Friday. Now, let me say this. TD Jakes should sue every last one of them. Because if he's right, and if he knows he hasn't done anything, he should sue every last one of them. If you had this information, and if you knew this stuff was going on, then you should have taken it to the police or had a lawsuit and had the witnesses to come out and say what they needed to say. And now, and this is what gets me. Everybody wants to jump on the bandwagon to say, "Oh, he did this," or "I know he did this," or "he did." No, we don't. No, we don't. And when I was hearing this stuff, I'm like, "Well, where's the evidence?" It was one lady who came on, and I think it was MVMO, and she said she knew someone who went to Christ of the Nations, and she knew what he had said. But again, that was secondhand information. That was what somebody was telling her. But no one has come forward to say yes or no, or he did this or he did this. People were saying, y'all, let me say this. People were saying that this man had to leave Charleston, West Virginia because of some junk. My thing is, Charleston, West Virginia is not a big place. And then people even saying that the man was dressing in drag. Where are the pictures? You know somebody would, if they can get pictures of Santos in drag, don't you think that they can't get one of TD Jakes? But I circled back around, and because I know how big West Virginia is, at least Charleston, West Virginia, I'm like, that man's ministry was growing rapidly. He was growing by leaps and bounds. And you all, being a flight attendant, I had to go to that airport. That's not a big airport. West Virginia Charleston, West Virginia at the time was 65,000 people. If TD Jakes had a massive manpower, it wouldn't be enough places to hold the people. He left Charleston, West Virginia because it didn't have the infrastructure to hold what he was getting ready to do. And it would have really seriously limited how much that ministry could grow. Who wouldn't go to Dallas, Texas? It's sitting in the middle of everything. American Airlines is the hub. They have everything in Dallas. So wouldn't that make more sense? Because truly, if he was running from something, he could have went to Richmond, Virginia. He could have went to Norfolk, Virginia. He could have went to Cincinnati or Columbus, Ohio. Those are big cities not too far from West Virginia. I just want you all to make sense of stuff, because people be saying things and it's like, this ain't making sense. Now, don't get me wrong. The Eddie Long thing, it was really traumatic. But the difference between Eddie Long and what these people are doing, and what gets me, is they're trying to paint TD Jakes out to be like Eddie Long. And the difference is there were 4 to 5 witnesses and people who had no problem going to the police and filing a report and talking to reporters. See, that's the difference. That's the difference. And y'all trying to paint this man as Eddie Long. But Eddie Long actually had people who were testifying, saying that he did this. With this TD Jakes thing, it came up all because of the Diddy situation. And the next thing you know, people running with it. And again, I'm no TD Jakes fan. I don't hate him. I'm not enthralled with him. I tell you what, when he first came out, I was like, wow, this is a breath of fresh air. But ever since he's moved to Dallas, I haven't even looked at TD Jakes anymore. So I'm not pro TD Jakes. I'm just pro right. Now, if TD Jakes is suing people, he should. Then people are telling PTD Jakes that he shouldn't be preaching in his pulpit, and he should, because his hands were shaking. Again, you all haven't had to go through this. And the man was angry. He was visibly upset, and he has every right to. You can't tell people how to fight. And my thing is, if this man has done this stuff, then why are you going to allow him to continue to do this stuff? If you were really angry and upset, you would have called the police, you would have brought the evidence, you would have had court documents drawn up, because you all were going to take him to court. And I have not seen that happen yet. All I've heard is people talking. That's all I have heard. Now, I am not saying that it ain't reasonable for anybody to live some kind of lifestyle. But if you're going to say that, bring the proof. I don't put nothing past anybody. Let me say that. I ain't putting nothing past anybody. I have been in ministry. I have been in church long enough to know that there's a lot of junk going on. But when you accuse somebody of some stuff, you better have what you say you have. That's all I'm saying. So I am not trying to say that he is not capable of this, but my thing is, if you got the proof, bring the proof. Now, let me go on and go a little further, because I have watched King Jobs, and King Jobs have pulled up court documents dealing with Manasseh Jordan and these robocalls and these lawsuits. Then he's pulled up something dealing with Bishop Bloomer and the Word Network and some things. So he's pulling up court documents, not foolish stuff, but court documents. And see, we ain't touching that. And I'm looking at Manasseh Jordan doing what he's doing. And I want y'all to catch this. Manasseh has not mentioned who is doing this grooming. All he's talking about is grooming. You hear me? All he's talking about is grooming. Larry Reid came on and said, according to Larry, I saw the video, that Manasseh was talking about TD Jakes. Manasseh ain't said one word about that. He has not said that TD Jakes said anything. All he is doing is talking about this grooming. And I'm sorry, it ain't no friends on YouTube. And baby, these people will leave you holding the bag. Now, let me say this. People are emailing Manasseh. Manasseh said, a lot of you all are emailing me, telling me about what you've gone through. And my heart is full. Let me say this, you all. Manasseh ain't dumb. Manasseh knows how to get people in their feelings and emotional. I see all of this trauma bonding going on, because I'm letting you know how this grooming looks. And people are emailing him and reaching out to him. Now, y'all, I hope Manasseh is doing the right thing. But I am so fearful. I am so fearful that Manasseh is going to get them emails, and y'all going to start send me $500 because there's a word for you, if you ain't already got them. And you going to get phone calls from home improvement places, University of Phonics, not Phoenix, but Phonics, Host University. And you're going to get calls from all of these places, because guess what? Somebody going to sell your information. People don't understand. With these magazine subscriptions and all of this, people pay for lists. Paying for lists and information is big money. Paying for leads is big money. And my thing is, y'all up here thinking that y'all getting some and praying and connecting and trauma bonding and all of this stuff. And this man is doing this because it's for profit. It ain't about no prophecy. It's about profit, not please don't get it twisted. These people know how to speak. They know how to touch people's hearts and do all of this stuff. No, I'm not saying he can't make his coin, but don't make coins off of people's pain. Don't make money off of people's pain and try to be slick and make this indirectly about Jakes, but not making it directly about Jakes, but have your boy verify that it's him. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. I have a problem. No, I don't make money off of people's pain. Oh, I'm very upfront. I'm going to Vegas. Y'all want to bless me? And if you bless me, you do. Baby, I'm very upfront. This is a show and you're paying for entertainment. I ain't never charged nobody for prayer. I ain't never charged nobody to come and do XYZ. Now, I'm a musician and I get paid for my work, but I play. But on my show, oh, if you want to pay for something, that's up to you totally. No one can ever say that he twisted my arm or he did this and I had to pay for something. So no, and this is not about me. So let me say this. This is not about me. This ain't about me. Number one, I'm not accusing people of grooming folk. I'm not accusing people of doing all of this stuff and saying that people have pictures and all of that stuff. I'm not accusing people of that. And what I am saying, and if you would listen and stay focused, is that if you got this stuff with TD Jakes, then go ahead and release it. If you're afraid of releasing it, take it to the cops and file a lawsuit. Because if you scared to say it, the court papers ain't going to be scared to say it. Period. Now, when Larry Reid was going through his situation with his accusers, I said the same thing. I am not pro Larry Reid and I am not pro his accusers. I am listening to what these people are saying, and we're going to let the evidence. We're going to let the evidence stand. Baby, people was getting hot as fish grease with me. Folk was getting all upset. Okay? And I'm going to say this. See, people were actually coming forth. So it was an actual person accusing this person of doing this. Now, see, y'all, they're talking about TD Jakes. I ain't seen nobody come out and say he did this or da da da. But with that Larry Reid situation, people were actually coming out and saying, oh, yeah, that did happen. Now, they settled, I guess. I guess it was mediated or whatever. And I guess people said you ain't going to say this and you ain't going to say that. I guess that's what happened. But again, I cannot understand someone who has been accused themselves to be so reckless to do this. And if you do have the information, then A, bring the accusers out, or B, take it to court and the authorities. Now, another thing, that Jimmy Battle thing really disturbed me, y'all, because first of all, I know where that place is in Florida. Some of these small churches, they look up to big time ministers coming to their church. And sometimes these big time ministers come to these churches and they do a lot of stuff. They do a lot of good or they can do a lot of bad. This man actually said, big time preacher essayed him and his friend. Then that person said his friend is no longer with us because it weighed on him so heavily. We listened to those interviews. We heard people apologize. I heard this. I heard it with my own ears. And this is what gets me when people actually put stuff out and then they act like, oh, what are you talking about? I heard this with my own ears. It was a big story. And it bothers me because somebody allegedly is not here anymore because they couldn't live with the guilt and shame. And see, unfortunately, y'all don't understand. I was looking at the Billy Preston story, and Billy Preston was a world-renowned organist. He was the guy who sung "Nothing from Nothing Leaves Nothing." And Billy Preston, according to the documentary, was essayed in church. He told his mama and the church people, and they didn't even believe him. It has been a lot of people in these churches who have been assaulted and touched, and they told the church folk, and they turned against them, the victim, all to get re-victimized again. And when I see something like that and people playing with that, that's serious business. And I don't know if they told that person to shut up or gave him some money to be quiet, but Jobs brought it up again. And now it seems like it's in a court document from the Word Network because somehow the person who owns the Word Network got that information. Let me tell y'all something. These people are power hungry and thirsty. They are doing things that I'm like, are you serious? And these people have started out really dealing with the indiscretions and the things that the church are doing. But this is the problem, and this is where it becomes a problem. When you start befriending people in the church and doing things for folk in power, and when you are in the pockets of people in power, they can make you do some crazy stuff. Now, I'm going to say this. I don't think all mega ministers are bad people. I don't. They are good ministers, male, female, in the body of Christ. And I truly believe that. But there are some people who crave power. They manipulate their people, they entrap their people, and they do not empower people. There are vloggers who do the same thing. And far as I'm concerned, these people are no different than those gossip columnists in the 30s. Like uh, I can't even think of them now. Oh God, but they used to just the Hollywood people either hated them or loved them, and they know that these people could ruin a career in a stroke of a pen. And I see a lot of this in the church and with some of these vloggers. I'm gonna say this: I've seen a lot of stuff in churches. I've seen a lot of people in these major mega ministries and how they get down in the boardroom and how they really talk to people. I've seen it, but everybody is not like that. So this is why I don't put anything past anybody. But when you accuse people of doing things and you don't have concrete evidence, that's a problem. And if TD Jake sue these people, he has every right to. If they don't come up with this evidence and all of these things that they have accused this man of doing, I hope he takes everything, because it's not fair. They said this man was at Diddy's party doing all kind of things, and they talking about male escorts and all of this stuff. I have not seen one male escort come up and say he did this. I have not heard one person say he did this. Not to say that they're not out there, but they sure ain't coming forward. Somebody said they got pictures and they seen pictures of Bishop Jakes in a compromising position. Where are those pictures? Where are those pictures? I'm telling you, if you got them pictures, you better go ahead and give them up, because if he sues you, you better produce them pictures. They're talking about all of this stuff, y'all. In 2024, please let us use our minds. Let us not forget that media will always have certain slants and that we need to read between the lines. Where is this source coming from? Is this a reliable source? What makes this source reliable? Where did this source come from and who? Baby, you got to be careful with what even you know. Look, with this AI, you got to be careful, because if people can use an actor or actress's voice and it's realistic, you got to be careful. Now, somebody said, "Are you talking about the picture of him sitting in the YouTube man's lap on the floor and the man is behind him holding his back?" I look, I haven't seen it. The stuff that I'm seeing and the stuff that people are trying to say, see, this is what he's done. I think there was a dancer on a show, and TD Jakes was looking at the dancer. Okay, so he's looking at the dancer. The man is dancing, but it was how he was looking at the man, and his hands was in his pants, and so the man can't put his hands in his pocket. He's looking at the dancer. You know, I'm just saying, you all, you can always speculate, but you cannot say because this person was looking at a dancer or this person was at Diddy's party that he is doing X, Y, Z in the third. That's all I'm saying. And I'm just telling people, please, before you make judgments, y'all need to step back and look at the evidence and let the evidence, because it's going to be deep 2024. And I'm surprised the lawsuits didn't hit already. Now, I'm being very honest. I'm surprised that these lawsuits have not hit people already. And I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be some lawsuits coming out. And I'm gonna tell you what, and I'm gonna say this again. Notice Manasseh Jordan never said who was doing the grooming. He never said he was groomed by anybody. Who said it? Larry Reid said it. And that's all I'm gonna say. Now, I'm not saying Jakes is innocent, and I'm not saying Jakes is guilty. But if you're gonna accuse somebody, you better make sure that you are sure about those accusations. I always try to believe the victim, but even in believing the victims, I'm still going to listen to this story. And I believe there's two sides to a story. And this is why respected journalism and respected journalists will always try to get both sides of the story in different perspectives to be balanced. And I'm not gonna lie, when people were saying that TD Jakes left Charleston because the people, baby, they didn't want TD Jakes to leave Charleston. TD Jakes was a big economic engine to Charleston, South Carolina. I mean Charleston, West Virginia. Come on, this man was having conferences in West Virginia. He was filling hotel rooms. He was filling convention centers. He was giving money to the airports. Why would you be trying to kick somebody out like that? Because money is money. Now, does it make certain people anxious? Yes, because some people don't like folk having that kind of power and influence. So it might make some people nervous. But for the most part, TD Jakes was not chased out of Charleston, West Virginia. Trust me. Trust me. TD Jakes was a powerhouse. And of course, Dallas would be a good place. And let me tell y'all something. Don't y'all know that people in West Virginia got telephones? And don't y'all know people in West Virginia know people in Dallas? And folk can easily make a phone call. And again, ain't pro TD Jakes, but you got to listen to what these people are saying and what has spun off from all of this other stuff. Now, did TD Jakes heavily disclose that he was apostolic? No, he sure didn't. Is he? I don't know if he's still affiliated with that denomination. So there's some things that TD Jakes have not said. You see where I'm going with this? But he didn't leave West Virginia because he was forced to leave West Virginia. He probably left West Virginia because his ministry might have been stifled had he stayed. He didn't say it was TD Jakes. He knows people think it's him, but haven't cleared him. Well, that's the whole thing, Truth. He didn't say it. Who is he? And what he are you talking about? Are you talking about Manasseh Jordan? Or are you talking about Larry Reid? Because I clearly heard him say TD Jakes. And I know my hearing is not going bad. That's what I heard on a video. And my thing is, if he misspoke or if I didn't hear correctly, I need to go listen to that video again. Because a lot of people went there. And Manasseh never said, and let me tell you why I know he said it. Let me tell you why I know he said it. Because he said Manasseh told him and his sister. That sounds like somebody told somebody something. And the thing that's getting me with Manasseh is he's not denied it, but he hasn't endorsed it. And what he's doing now is saying that a lot of you all have written me And I see a lot of trauma bonding going on. I see a lot of I feel your pain, but in all of that, I feel your pain. If y'all start getting stuff in the email, and if people start saying, "Hey, do you want to go to college?" or "Hey, do you want to get your home repaired?" then you know somebody done stole. He done sold your information. I'm being real on that. Now, I'm not saying he did. He did do this, but baby, I'm gonna tell y'all, these magazine subscriptions and this publishers clearinghouse, it puts you on a list. So, and people sell those lists, and people call you, and people send you stuff in the email so they can sell you something. I'm just saying. And not only, y'all, be wise, be wise, be wise, be wise. Now, all I'm saying is this: I don't know if Bishop T.D. Jakes is having an affair or dealing with down low men or not. You know why? Because I ain't never dealt with T.D. Jakes. I have never been to the Potter's house. I don't know. And I don't think any of y'all have slept with T.D. Jakes, nor done anything else. Now, I'm sure that there are people who may know T.D. Jakes personally, but I'm not one of them. And all I'm saying is you all need to consider the source. What do people have to gain from this? And that's another thing. What are you gaining from this? See, I know Manasseh is gaining a whole new audience. I wouldn't be surprised if Manasseh started this ministry and start talking about this, and he writes a book about this. Not only this, but Manasseh has a whole nother group of people now he can minister and solicit. See, that's business for him because he's a millionaire. And the robo ministry has worked very well from him. Not only that, but going on TV and doing all of these crusades. So business. But what do these people have to gain? What is their motive? Where did you get this information from? Who told you? And why did they tell you? And what do they want to happen? And this is my question to all of these people putting in, what is your end game? Is your end game to destroy TD Jakes? Is your end game to destroy his ministry? Is that the end game? Because if your end game was to put away a predator, then you would have gone to the court system and the authorities and turned this over and say, you know what? This man has done XYZ and he needs to be off the streets. If that was your real end game. Because when I was listening to people talk about JB in Florida, they wanted to help this person because this person said that they were taken advantage of and their friend was taken advantage of, and their friend is no longer with us because of the guilt and shame of somebody taking advantage of them. And that person should have been taken off the street. That person should not even be walking around today if they really did that. But yet I didn't see a person do a darn thing. And see, this is what gets me to saying this is wrong. Because I do go to the Eddie Long situation and I see those boys, and those boys were victims. And you could talk to those boys, were giving interviews and they were upset, and they were visibly upset. And you got to realize that, see, people were talking about them, people were blaming them, people were saying, these are grown men. How could they? Why didn't they say nothing? And all of this. And they had to go through all of that. You know, black men don't want to tell nobody when they have been violated and touched. So for them to even do that, that was a whole lot of stuff. They're victims. And they stood by their story. They never wavered once. Because there are some real victims out there. So my question is, what is your end game? What do you want from this? Because if you are serious about helping the victims, you would have done the right thing already. You would have turned over evidence to the police and court cases. So this is what I'm trying to say. And y'all, I'm so sick of it. I'm sick of it. And I thought we were going to get over this, but let me tell you something. If TD Jake sues them, they deserve it. They deserve it. I'm telling you, people have dogged this man out. I'm telling you, I don't put nothing past anybody. But you don't have the right to sit here and malign somebody and say, oh, they don't need to be on the pulpit, or they need to sit down and he's shaking and I think he's guilty and all of that. First of all, it ain't important to you until it happens to you. See, a lot of us haven't had to deal with this kind of stuff. But see, y'all don't understand that TD Jakes, and I know people don't like to hear that, he has a ministry, right? But that ministry is a brand. Do you not know that there are contracts and people who are dealing with him and backers who may be backing him, and they're hearing all of this stuff? Just like Diddy. People started backing out of certain things, and people are questioning, should he even be a part of the awards show? But the difference between Diddy and TD Jakes is Cassie turned over evidence. She turned over evidence. And I don't know what she did, but he settled with her pretty quickly. TD Jakes ain't Diddy. And I'm not seeing nothing turned over. See, that's the difference. And I find it very odd that we shift things from Diddy and put them on TD Jakes and try to use this guilt by association. That is not true for everybody. It ain't true for everybody. So you mean to tell me if your uncle sells drugs, that means you sell drugs? If your mama alcoholic, does that mean you an alcoholic? If you go to inner city school, does that mean your education is not valid? Some of these cliches we use are not correct. Birds of a feather flock together. Well, Jesus was flocking with some tax collectors and prostitutes. Does that mean he was a prostitute and a tax collector? We need to be very careful. Hey, Rainy Bow, be careful in Germany. We need to be very careful in what we get ecstatic about. I was very shocked when I heard the news. And the first thing I'm like, I'm going to sit here and wait. Now, I'm going to tell you what, it was interesting seeing TD Jakes dance in that shirt. And was the shirt too tight? Yes, the shirt was tight. But that man, if he want to go and dance somewhere, he should be able to dance. And that's another problem too. Oh, let me go read it. Let me go read it, y'all. Hold on for a minute. I ain't sticking up for Jakes, but y'all, it's something behind this stuff, and it's gonna come out. Hold on. Let me go read. Let me go to this page. Hold on. Y'all look, I just read Larry Reid's post. I have problems with what's going on. Manasseh is not ignorant. He is not, he doesn't have a learning disability that we know of, at least not to uh, cause any issues with his articulation. It seems like Manasseh Jordan is very articulate, and it seems like he can speak for himself. Now, Larry Reid is doubling down and said he knows for himself. Larry Reid and Manasseh Jordan. Now, I can't blame Manasseh because Manasseh never said to the general public that TD Jakes has done anything to him. I have not heard that from Manasseh's mouth. All I am hearing Manasseh is talk about is grooming and how people try to groom folk. And I am not disputing that. But Larry Reid, you are saying this man has done this. When are you and Manasseh gonna go to the police department or file a lawsuit saying that TD Jakes has done those things? See, you can put these things on your community board. You can say all of this stuff. But if you truly have the goods, and if Manasseh, and you've seen these things, then I think you need to turn these things over. Because if TD Jakes is doing these things that you have accused him of doing, then he's a danger to society. And if nothing else, he needs help. If he's really done this. Now, Larry Reid, when your day came, those people were talking. Those folk were talking. Them people were talking. I heard you do interviews, and some of the stuff that you said, I was like, are you serious? It seemed like a whole control situation. I'm gonna tell you what, I ain't buying no house for nobody to stay in. You ain't staying with me. First of all, that's a no-no right there. Any leader knows that you don't want people to get that close to you to the point where, because then there's a lack of respect. Oh my God, come on now. It has to be aligned. So even hearing a lot of this stuff. Now, I don't know what happened, and everybody kept on going about their mighty little old way. Now, the folks said that it was some mediation and y'all came to some collaboration and y'all went y'all way. Did it go to court? I don't think it went to court. And in mediation, the judge will allow you to get mediated. And whatever the mediator says, it goes to the judge. That means it didn't go to the courts, if that's the case. So if Manasseh is the victim, as you are alleging, then I think Manasseh, maybe you need to talk to Manasseh and say, Manasseh, you need to go to the authorities, Manasseh, and you need to report this. Because what it looks like is you all are trying to ruin this man's reputation and hold this out. And one thing I will tell you is TD Jakes has just as much as money as you think you have. And TD Jakes has a whole legal team. And if you don't think he don't have a legal team, try it. And I'm going to tell you what, you're going to be looking like Tasha K. So what Tasha K and Cardi B and Kevin Hart is, TD Jakes is going to be that to you. And I think, and I'm going to tell you, y'all better stop playing with folk. Y'all better stop playing with people. Now, to this day, I ain't say you did it, and I didn't say you didn't do it. But the victims, if people say everybody has a perspective and everybody has a right to say what they have to say. But I think you got to be very careful. Betty White, but Betty White, let me say this. If people have done these things, and I want y'all to get this, I'm not pro TD Jakes and I'm not anti TD Jakes, but don't play in the folks' face because everybody ain't dumb. Some people are media savvy. Some people are media savvy. And some people know that some folk don't like folk. And they this is how they get back at people. And again, you know, you're trying to tarnish this man's reputation. You're saying that he's done this and you have proof and you have evidence, but yet why the delay? Let me say this, y'all. It's no different than this Cassie versus Christian Keys. Have we heard anything else from Christian Keys? Have we heard anything else from Christian Keys? Christian Keys came out, caused all this ruckus, said that he had tapes and things and all of this stuff. He waited to the statute of limitations when I mean and I ain't mad at people trying to. I say, come on, establish your credibility. I say, come on, establishing your credibility. We see you establishing that credibility. Because it ain't about the money. It ain't about the money. Oh, okay. And then he went on and said, you know, he was so upset and he was about to say the name and here we are now. And the billionaire is still hanging out. Now, you cause even more rumors. Did the billionaire pay you off to be quiet? People were saying at the end of the day, you had a contract negotiation. Did you get what you want? Do you think what you did to them other black billionaires who don't have nothing to do is fair? Because you done put a lot of people's reputation at stake by not saying the names. Because there are billionaires who ain't never spoke to you in such a manner, but yet they have to bear the brunt, and everybody's questioning because there was quite a few people that was questioned. They even had Byron Allen. They was talking about Byron Allen. I'm like, oh Lord, not Byron Allen, but people was talking about it. Ooh, they was talking about all the billionaires. So you put all black men who are billionaires on alert, whether they dealt with you in that way or not. Have you turned over that information to the authorities? When is the court case getting ready to happen? But yet, Cassie turned over documents and stuff. And I don't know what she did, but folks settled real quickly. I'm going to go to Paula Abdul. All we know is Paula Abdul filed that lawsuit, and next thing you know, it was on World News Tonight. And guess what? Paula Abdul ain't say not one name, but the court documents did. See, this is what I'm saying. Paula Abdul ain't playing. Paula Abdul ain't playing. She said, I don't got time for this. And I want y'all to get what Paula Abdul, because see, again, it tells me a lot about the entertainment industry, but I think a lot of this stuff that's going on in the entertainment industry is happening in these church walls. We just don't know. She said that man grabbed her stuff and her breast. She ran. She called her agent. The only reason they didn't do nothing because she was under contract and she thought her contract and he would retaliate. And Paula said, I got to pay for this house. I got to pay for this car. Then again at dinner at his house. Now, I don't know. Was other people at that house? Was you alone at that dinner? And see, we asked those kind of questions. But again, this is that woman's boss. And she's in a precarious situation. And it's easy to say what you wouldn't and wouldn't do because we don't know. We ain't never been in positions before. Anyway, Paula said, though, we ain't playing today. And you may have done these things, but you ain't going to get away. And she filed that lawsuit. I'm giving women more props than these men, because these men up here playing games and they're using this as a game. And it's not a game. And I'm not mad at you. If you're going to get your money, because if you have pain and suffering, you deserve every penny you get. But don't sit here and play with this, because there are some real victims out there. What's up? Not on my watch. Betty White, though, I am tired of people trying to use the media. And that's what it is, you all. I'm telling you, you have to question everything that you look at. And I'm not telling people to be conspiracy theorists, but you got to watch this stuff. 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 And some of this stuff I know has happened. I have been born and raised in the church, and I've seen some stuff happen. I've seen some ugly stuff happen. These people talking about they don't want a woman right to choose, but yet they let their daughter go across borders to get it for themselves to save face. See, it's a lot of stuff. So I don't put nothing past church people. I don't put nothing past church people. Church people ain't no different than anybody else, and usually they do a better job of it because they can hide behind the cross as they think. But no. So nobody is dumb in this situation. But there are some people who are not going to get into this group thing and just go along to get along and everything. Like I said, I'm not anti TD Jakes. I'm not pro TD Jakes. But if this man has done all of this stuff and y'all got all of this evidence and y'all saying all of this stuff, then stop playing games and go ahead and turn over evidence. Let's get these court proceedings going on so justice can be served. And the victims will have a right. Let's get these victims so they'll have their voice and their say. If this is if you all are saying what's true is true, because then my question is, what is your motive and what is your game? What is your end game? What do you plan to gain from this? And you keep on saying that. I'm not saying that TD Jakes ain't a man of God. Well, what are you trying to say then? Well, let's say it. Either he's a man of God or he's a predator. Which one is he? What are you trying to say? Because it seems like a lot of double talk here to me. It's a lot of double talk. That bishop, let me say this. I'm not saying that man ain't anointed. I'm not saying that man ain't helped people. But if that man is a predator, he needs to serve some time for doing what he did. Because if it's true that that young man is no longer with us because of the guilt and shame that somebody inflicted upon him, and he couldn't deal with the shame and people talking about him because of this thing, then that person needs to serve some time. Because you actually took advantage of your position. It ain't no different. Let me say this, y'all. I knew some good managers, but they couldn't keep their hands off of these women. And they was trying to hunch everything in the office. And everything in the office didn't want them. And guess what? They lost their job. And the company got sued. And it ain't no different. You cannot use your power to harm and hurt people, especially when it comes to ministry. You can't do that. You can't do that. Again, I'm not pro TD Jakes. I am not anti TD Jakes. But if y'all got this info, and if this man is such a menace, but don't talk about, oh, he's a man of God. But okay, okay, and so what's your end game? That's what I'm saying, the truth. And let me say this, you all, I don't know why Jakes was at Diddy's party at that particular point. I don't know. But this is the thing. You can't say, well, I know that he was doing something. Because if you over there at that time of night, you doing something. Everybody ain't doing nothing. We got to be very careful. You got to be very careful of how we try to paint people. You just got to be very careful. Am I saying that TD Jakes is not beyond reproach? Hell, we all got issues. As long as you wrapped up in this flesh, you gonna have. I don't care who TD Jakes is. TD Jakes got to get before God and lay before God just like everybody else. TD Jakes gotta answer to God just like everybody else. And let me tell you something: TD Jakes ain't no better than nobody else, because the only thing that saved TD Jakes is the blood. Just like the blood, if you a Christian, let me roll that back. If you are a Christian and if you believe in the Christian tenets, the blood makes you righteous. God says that your righteousness is like filthy rags before God. So I don't care how high and how cute and how saved you think you are, your salvation, your works ain't nothing but filthy rags before God. It's only the blood that makes you righteous. So knowing that, TD Jakes may have a lot of more money than a whole lot of people, but baby, the blood got to get him just like it got to get everybody else. And if TD Jakes ain't under the blood, then his righteousness is filthy. That's Bible. That's Bible right there. Until that which is perfect to come, and that which is perfect has not come like we expected him right at this particular point. That which is perfect ain't come. We all got a cross to bear. But there's a difference between maturity and perfect. And I don't expect perfect people. I expect people to be mature. You should be a little different than where you were yesterday, 5 years from now. That's all I'm saying. So I really don't know. I really don't know. And I'm glad that Jesus ain't no court reporter, because all of us, we all be in trouble. Come on now. I don't care how saved you think you are. We all be in trouble. So I'm not trying to go there. I'm not trying to justify XYZ, but these have been some serious allegations leveled against this man. When you're leveling serious allegations out there, you don't be playing and dangling no carrot in front of nobody's face. You get to business and trying to handle the situation, because if you're saying that this person has groomed somebody, and if you're saying that this person has done all of these things, then this person needs to be taken down, because this person could be a danger to other people. That's all I'm saying. If you know you have somebody in the social system, or you have somebody who's a teacher and they ain't right, you want to take them out of that and get them out of the situation, because you don't want somebody in the school system to be in a situation where it could cause some problems. But yet you got to have the evidence. You just can't say, oh, because you smack your lips, you touching folk. That ain't right. You have to do an investigation. You have to make sure that you have done everything and you have come conclusively that this is what's happened. That's all I'm saying. So I don't put nothing past nobody. But you better make sure. Better White said, I had an honest question. It's something I cannot move past. Do you find it strange that friends aren't speaking up in his defense? I expect my friends to. Please share your thoughts. Let me tell you something. Everybody ain't your friend. Everybody ain't your friend. Baby, the world of evangelism, and these preachers, not all of them, but a lot of these preachers are very competitive. A lot of people are envious of TD Jakes because of where he's come from and how quick it took him to get there. A lot of people would love to have what he had. It's a lot of people who are envious out there. Everybody ain't happy because you doing things. Everybody ain't happy because you just built that $1 or $1 billion church. Everybody ain't happy because of that. And baby, these people are very competitive. So everybody ain't gonna come to your aid. But there are some people who do support TD Jakes. I saw somebody in somebody's room asking questions, and he's part of Jake's ministry. So everybody is not against Jake. But somebody, let me tell y'all something. Some of these people ain't gonna say nothing because they got junk. And when you start getting a little too chummy with people, because let me tell you, a lot of these vloggers have people really scared, you all. A lot of these vloggers have a lot of these people scared. And so you don't think people gonna run to your aid. Everybody ain't gonna run to your aid. Either they're scared because they're afraid that somebody's gonna attack them, because they might be doing something far much worse than that person who's been accused. They may have some jealousy and they may be happy that this is happening. Baby, it's a lot of this stuff going on. Let me tell you something. People happy when people's churches close. I don't know if y'all ever saw that movie. That pretty much it was pretty much a depiction of Eddie Long, and it was a good movie. It wasn't very popular, but it was dealing with church, and when the pastor of the church had got caught up in that scandal, the other churches was vying to get their members. Ooh, they were trying to build a church off of other folk. Y'all, it gets very competitive out here. Now, I'm not saying all ministers are like that, because everybody is not like that. And I'm sure there are some people who have reached out to TD Jakes in private, but don't expect people to be running to help you out, especially if they want you to have a fall. And I'm not saying that, again, I'm not TD Jakes' fixer. I'm not his public relations person, but we got to be real. Everybody in the body of Christ ain't in the body of Christ. Some people, church is business and money and power and all of this stuff. And again, this is why I don't deal with mega churches. This is why I don't deal with these churches that are run like corporations, because it's just too much going on with them. And I'm not saying this is every mega church. I'm not saying this is every mega church, but sometimes people forget that the church is not that building. The church is the people. Y'all just get together collectively, but if that building were to be destroyed, it's still a church. So that's all I'm gonna say about that. Yes, honk if you love Jesus. That movie right there. If you ain't seen that movie, y'all need to go see that movie. Now, somebody I went with, they thought that movie was corny. Let me tell you something. I would have rather seen that movie than The Color Purple. Not because of this musical movie Color Purple. I would have rather seen Honk If You Love Jesus, because see, that's some real stuff. That's some real stuff. And I know it was meant to be kind of a comedy, but that is some real stuff. That is some real stuff, especially with those churches. And you done built these churches up and you done helped these people to grow in ministry, and then all of a sudden they turn on you, or they even act like you ain't even there. And again, people waiting for a good scandal so we can get these members. That movie was very deep. It was meant to be a comedy, but I saw some realism in that movie. Well, we don't know. We'll find out. It'll come out in the wash. Well, let me say this, you all. I have listened to these vloggers, and I'm going to be very honest. Jives has brought, and it ain't even because of who you like or who you don't like and everything. Let me say this. Out of all of these people, I don't know who William McCrae was getting information from, but most of William McCrae's stuff was right. I know he was messy. I know he is messy as messy can be. But William McCrae, his stuff was visceral. It was ugly. It was vindictive. It was bad. It was bad. And I don't know if he was extorting people. I don't know. But some of that stuff that he had, y'all, I know somebody right now. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I know somebody right now who I know William McCrae got them. I know this person personally. I did not get along with this person in college. I know him personally. And they moved up real quick in the Church of God in Christ. And when I tell you William McCrae had pictures, text messages, baby, I fell out. I fell out. And when I saw the pictures, I knew it. William McCrae sent stuff to the person's superintendent and the bishop. And oh my God, it was vicious. It was ugly. It was ugly. It was true, but it was ugly. But it was true. It was ugly. It was true. And one thing about McCrae is, if he say he gonna send it, he gonna send it. And that's what made people scared of him. Now he did get a lawsuit, and it didn't look good. But yeah, King Jives. You can hate Jives. You can say whatever you want about Jives, but Jives get court documents. Court documents. Everything for the most part I've seen that he really went in on, it was some court documents. Do I agree with everything everybody does? Mm-mm. But Larry Reid, it's going to be interesting. I've listened to these people, but it comes to a point, it's like, what is your end game? And you always have to be grounded because you always have to go back to the mission. If it's to stamp out this mess in the church, then let it be that. Keep your mission there. I'm going to tell y'all, when Chives broke that story about people buying seats to be closer to clergy, that was a big deal. That was a big deal. And it caused a stir in the church. It was a big deal. And people didn't like that. And I don't think that these people should be eliminated. I think it keeps a balance within the church. It keeps people honest. But when it gets to the time of being malicious, you gotta almost be like Consumer Report. We ain't accepting advertisements. We ain't accepting this. We are nonprofit. Because when you start letting people get in, then you start being used as a tool. You start being used as a prop. You start being used to attack other folk. And then next thing you know, people will have you out holding the bag. And that's all I'm gonna say about that. If you're gonna do it for the right reasons. And you should always question yourself, why am I doing this? What is the long-term goal? What is the short-term goal? What is my objective for doing this? And if you can't be honest with yourself, you don't need to be doing it. And that's just the truth. So all I'm going to say is If TD Jakes sues you all, I hope y'all have that evidence. If TD Jakes takes y'all to court, I hope your evidence is strong, and I hope it holds up. I really do. I really do. I really do. I really do. Because I think it's going to be some lawsuits coming up. I really do. I'm telling you, y'all, I called that thing with Cardi B and Tasha K, and a lot of y'all was here when I said it. Yes, baby, I'm a sinner saved by grace, and thank God for grace because we're all sinners. And thank God for Jesus coming in the Christian context to save us all because we were all sinners. Oh, but thank God for the sacrifice. He who knew no sin became sin for all of us. So, Hassan, you are sure enough right. I was a wretch undone, but thank God for the blood of Jesus. And thank God because the blood has made me righteous and not me myself, but the blood. You are so right, Hassan, because you are a sinner too. And I'm glad that God saved you if you saved, because we all been sinners. And thank God. I used to hate that. I'm a sinner saved by grace. But you know what? We are. Ooh, the Church of God in Christ and the Pentecostal people used to hate that. I ain't no sinner. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. Because you weren't born pure. You were born into sin. And to that which is perfect is to come. You were in sin, but thank God for the blood. Thank God for the blood. Mm. Thank God for the blood. Let me say this. Let me say this. People need to stop. People need to stop. And what I'm asking you all to do is really, really observe and watch and listen and look at these plays and things that people are doing. We do fall down and we get up. See, that's the problem. People trying to be perfect, and you ain't gonna ever be perfect. This is when people really need to go to seminary. Because you ain't gonna be perfect. We do fall down and we get up. But a saint is just a sinner who fall down. Baby, you gonna fall. Because if you ain't sinning, that means you've been translated already. Because if you ain't sinning, then you don't need to be here. You should be gone already. Just as sure as you wrapped up in this flesh, you gonna sin. And I don't care. You'll be 58 years old, 70 years old, 102 years old, still sinning. If we didn't do that, then what's the use of Jesus coming? If we weren't going to sin, if we weren't going to fall down and get up, then what's the use of Jesus coming? I mean, if we were self-sufficient, then it would be no need for Jesus. Okay? So I don't know what people think that and this is why I'm looking at this thing, because we are all human. And this is why I say I don't put nothing past anybody human. We all human. I'm not putting nothing past us. But don't put nothing on somebody that they didn't do. Or don't make nothing up. And again, if you have this information and if you think that is going to be beneficial to help people, because let me tell you something, if somebody is a predator, you need to stop it right away. You don't let abuse continue to go on and do nothing about it. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I believe it's going to be a lot of lawsuits. I surely do. And I believe that the Protestant church is getting ready to go through exactly what the Catholic church went to. We up there talking about them priests. We done talked about the Catholic church. We done dogged out the Catholic church. And then and we think we don't have a day of reckoning. Protestant people, you don't think we don't have a day of reckoning? You don't think people ain't dealing and doing stuff? You don't think we don't have a day of reckoning, Protestant folk? You got to be crazy. Patricia, let me tell you something. That Tasha K thing, baby, I knew that was going to happen. Oh, yes, I called that. And guess what? You didn't have to pay $50. You didn't have to pay $500 to get that word. Okay? You shouldn't have to pay for no prophetic word. People know you. Let me say this. If you doing God's work, if you blessing the people, people will bless you. You wouldn't have to ask people for one dime. When people know that you're real, you don't have to do you, baby, people will bless you. They will bless you, and you don't have to demand it. You don't have to do no sneaky and no. They'll bless you. But I'm going to say this. I knew she was in trouble when she said she believed that woman. I'm like, girl, you getting ready to get a lawsuit right there. You ain't staying objective. You saying that that lady did that. And sure enough, it sure did happen. Man, who? Anyway, let me see what y'all saying. Hassan, don't worry about me. Let me say this to you, Hassan. Work out your own soul salvation. That's what you need to do. And if you would focus on what Hassan needs to do and how God is working in your life, then you don't have time to worry about me, because I'm definitely not worried about you. And my walk with God is personal. And when He saved me, you ain't had nothing to do with it. And that's what I like about God, because it's an inside job. And He didn't need your approval to do it. That's what I like about God. He don't need no third party validation. And so Hassan, um, you didn't take any stripes. You didn't take any crown of thorns on your head. You didn't get beat all night long. They didn't pierce you in the side. You ain't do none of that for me. You ain't saved me and you ain't delivered me. So again, I don't know why you trying to act like you got some power, because Jesus is a self-validator. He don't need third party. I'm just saying. Well, if you love that, then that's God bless you. What do you like and vagina have to do with me and Jesus? It don't have nothing to do at all. It don't have nothing to do with it at all. Of course, that's your thing. But I don't agree with you. And I think you need to get into a good seminary and really, really read the scripture in context and not proof text, because you're showing your ignorance. And what you think about me, it don't matter to me, because again, God don't need no third party validator. So you like vagina. And so what that's saying about you. And your point is, and your point is, and your point is, yeah. Let me tell you something. I don't let these people, folk like vagina and having babies out of wedlock. I'm sure Jesus is happy with that too. Uh, Having vagina and ain't married. I'm sure Jesus is pleased. See what I'm saying? Oh, people want to pick and choose. Thank God that I have somebody who I've been with 6 years constant, and I'm good with it. Now let me move right along. Thou shalt not lay with a man. That's Old Testament, and that's an incest scripture. And if you look, it's a difference between male and man, and you need to look at that. You need to look at that. I don't deal with pedestry. I don't deal with that. But look at that scripture very closely. I know you want to quote that, but read it very carefully and read it in context and study it. Go to Bible Hub, and look at the Hebrew and Greek and look at the concordances, and it'll let you know about that. So again, go talk to somebody who may not know the word. One thing about me is, this is why I went to seminary, so I could deal with ignorant folk. And I'm not going to sit here and argue with you, because as a contextual reader of the word, I don't deal with people who just proof text it. So until you can get out of your proof text and get the context, we don't even have a conversation. We don't even have a conversation. So what I'm going to tell you is, Hassan, I think you need to focus on the context of the word and not the proof text. And I think you're proof texting. So that's what I need to say to you. God bless you. No, you need to better yourself. I think you'll better yourself when you really read the word in context, because you're a proof text word reader. And I don't argue with proof text word readers. I need you to be a contextual word reader. So you better yourself, okay? God bless you. The proof texters. Well, anyway, y'all, look, I'm getting ready to go out to watch night service and do that. But I just wanted to say what I had to say. And again, We're going to see what happens, but I think people really need to be very, very careful jumping sides. And I'm this team, and I'm not no team. My thing is this, Larry Reid, if you are 100% sure of what you have, and if Manasseh Jordan is 100% of what happened to him, I think you all need to take TD Jakes to court. And I think you all need to go to court. Now, that's my thoughts. Because if TD Jakes is doing what you're saying he's doing, then he don't need to be in ministry no more. He really needs to get help if that's what he's doing. But if he's not doing that, then y'all may get sued. And that's the bottom line. Let me see what y'all saying. If homosexual was of God, why is TDG that had? Well, maybe TD Jakes need to go to seminary too. And maybe he need to know the word in context. But that's not my issue with TD Jakes. He has to resolve that within himself. It's a lot of ministers out here hiding. But when your bread and butter depends on it, and when you don't want to be shunned, and when you don't want to be excommunicated out of the church, you do this. And this goes back to Carlton Pearson. See, y'all can say whatever y'all want to. I'm going to at least give Carlton Pearson a stand for going for what he believed and not this groupthink thing. Because people want you to do everything that they think you should do. But that was his conviction, and that's how he felt. Every time I start talking about tithing, folk get upset. But I don't believe in tithing. I don't think tithing is for folk today. I think you should be a cheerful giver. And I'm going to hold on to that. I sure am. And so they got to resolve that within themselves. That's a TD Jakes thing. Oh, I don't. I follow the word of God. Okay. I follow it too. I just don't follow it how you follow it. I follow it in context. I don't spiritualize the word. I follow it in context. So we move right along. Anyway, Hassan, I'm not here to argue with you. If you think I'm doing wrong, baby, continue to pray for me. That's what I ask for you to do. Because you ain't showing your godly love by sitting here being critical. So my thing is, the Bible said, if you see a brother in fault, then you need to pray and go to a point where you can restore him. And I don't think your commentary is restorative. I think it's very damaging. And if you think that you're going to win somebody to Christ, or you think you're going to persuade somebody with your caustic, toxic, volatile commentary, you're wrong. And this is when I ask you, what kind of God do you serve? Because what you're doing is definitely not restoring. It's more like damaging. So you pray for me. And that's what you can do for me. Because if you're really saved and spiritual like you say you are, then you should be praying. So can you do that for me? Or are you so angry and so toxic that you just get a kick out of saying this and being seen to make you look good? I'm just asking. Okay. Now, Hassan, I don't have a problem with my sexuality. Oh, I'm definitely same gender loving. Oh, I'm definitely same gender loving. Oh my God, yes. And still love God. And still love God. Because let me tell you something, if God gonna do something, he gonna do it. And if God feels like I need to be delivered, he gonna deliver me. I can't understand. Let me get to this. Ooh, I feel this in my spirit. I can't understand somebody so concerned about my sexuality, but they can't stop eating and they can't stop going to the buffet. You so concerned about my sexuality, but y'all can't stop gossiping and talking about folk at church. Ain't the same God who can stop people from being gay should be the same God to stop y'all from gossiping and backbiting? I just can't understand how God can help people in these big dramatic areas, but he can't help you in them small areas. Pray for me. Again, that's all I can say. If you really love the Lord like you say you love the Lord, pray for me. That's all I can tell you to do. Pray for me. Oh, Lord, Hassan, God bless you. God bless you. Hassan, I just want you to pray for me because if you say you saved like you are, then the Bible said you ought to love your brother as Christ has loved you. And they shall know us by our love. And I don't understand how I'm gonna know you, but yet you spewing out hate. So I want you to pray. Because I may not agree with you, Hassan, but I'm gonna pray for you. I know that you need to look at the word in context. And if you don't know what context is, look it up. Look up Hassan proof text and look up the word context. And then I want you to make a decision. Because in 2024, we should be reading the word in a contextual style and not proof text in the word. This is why people so messed up now. People telling folk that they need to go back to their first husband if they divorced their first husband. These people done married, been with their second husband for 15 years, and then this preacher, because he done got a little scripture and a little revelation, he telling the folk that they need to go back to their first husband. See, this is what proof texting will do. Proof texting will have you doing a whole lot of crazy stuff. So you got to know. Well, whatever I am, you need to pray for me because what I am is a human being. So regardless of what you think, I'm a human being. I'm a human being. So as a human being, as a person of the human race, I hope you have enough dignity and enough Christ in you to pray for me. Are you going to pray for me or are you going to insult me? Which one you think going to help? You praying or you insulting? Because if you believe that prayer changes things, then you should go pray and God should move something. Should God move something when you pray? So I want you to do that, Hassan. Do that for me. Pray for me. And I'm not a sister. I have a penis. I'm definitely not a sister. I definitely have a penis, but I'm a human being. And I don't have to call people names and be ugly. I don't have to do that because Jesus don't do that. Mm-mm. If you love Jesus, you should know better than that, Hassan. And I can't understand how you saying that you love Jesus and follow the word, but yet you insulting somebody and you talking about somebody like that. That don't seem like it's God to me, Hassan. It seems like it's anger and some hate. And Hassan, let me say this. What you usually hate in others, you usually hate in yourself. I don't know, but examine yourself. Baby, I'm here for it. Let me tell y'all something. I know a lot of you all think, oh, Jay Wilson, da da da. I have a show. I have, and I don't even know if I'm going to continue on that route. But it was easy to roast. It was easy to gag because I learned that in church too. It's easy to do that stuff. I've had a lot of people email me and say, you know what, you made me laugh, or you made me do this, and I'm still gonna make people laugh. But I really want folk to think as well. And like I said, I'm glad Hassan came in here. Hassan is not bothering me at all. But Hassan is just showing me that most Christian people who claim they're Christians, this is their take, and this is how they minister to people. And this is why our churches are in such a sad position now. Because even if I don't agree with you, even if I don't see scripture in the same way you do, you're still human. You still have been created by God and in the image of God. Regardless of who you love or not love, you're still created in the image of God. You're still a human being. And I feel that if you really have an issue with somebody, you need to pray. And that's why I'm saying, Hassan, I'm asking you to pray and you busy insulting. And I don't see the Christ in that. I don't see the Christ in that. Because if somebody say, pray for me, then you should pray for them. So if you're not a Christian, so we ain't even on the same wavelength. So thank you, Hassan, for even mentioning that. And you know what? Even if you're not a Christian, I'm not going to sit here and insult you. But I don't believe the way you do. You don't believe in the way I do, and that's fine. So it is what it is. And thank you for letting me know that. So thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah. Moving right along. As far as TD Jakes is concerned, he is responsible for himself. But you can't get mad at the man when he comes back with lawsuits, because he has every right under our judicial system to sue somebody who he feels is slandering him, or bringing I almost said deformation, um, defamation on him. Hassan, if that's what I like, that's what I like. And as long as you're not sucking mine and I'm not sucking yours, then what's the problem? You act like you want to sleep with me. Why are you so concerned about what I do in my private life? Hassan, do you see me worried about what you do in your private life? So why are you so concerned about my private life, Hassan? Obviously, you must want to suck a log because you brought that up. How do you even have a mindset like that, Hassan? Me as a gay man wouldn't even say something like that. But yet you as a straight man saying something like that, Hassan, what is wrong with you? Hassan, are you okay? Because you all up in my stuff. The Bible says a lot of stuff is wrong. The Bible says a lot of stuff is wrong. Hassan, work out your own soul salvation with fear and trembling. God is saying, you up here looking at the log in my eye, but you have a whole forest. Well, let me tell you what the Bible really says. It says you're looking at the speck in my eye, but yet you have a whole log in yours. Make sure everything is okay with you. Make sure you're doing okay. Make sure you're doing okay. Okay? Make sure you're doing okay. And I'm enjoying this conversation. Oh, I'm a yes, I'm a sinner saved by grace. Thank you. But Hassan, you're not even a Christian. So why are we even having this conversation? Because you're not a Christian. So why are you worried about if I'm a sinner or not? You ain't even a Christian. So if that's not your form of belief, then you're entitled to it, but you're not even a Christian. So, but God bless you, Hassan, and I hope heaven smiles upon you and God's mercy upon you. That's all I can say to you. I'm not upset with you, but my gay is making you so angry. Why is it making you angry, Hassan? Y'all, let's focus on Hassan. He seems like he needs some attention. So let's give Hassan some attention today. Hassan, why is my being gay making you so upset? What's wrong, Hassan? What have you had a bad experience? I'm just asking. No, I'm not only talking, but you don't have any authority to say XYZ and so on and so forth, because you're not even a Christian. You just said it yourself. So you hold to your tenets. But my thing is this: why are you so angry and why are you so obsessed in how I live my life? Oh no, you sound very angry. You sound very inquisitive. And let me say this, Hassan. I don't go over to heterosexual men's platforms and say, why you dogging out women like this? Or why you playing these women like this? I'm just respectful on people's channel, unless we're having a conversation. So I don't understand why you think it's okay to come to someone's channel. And my thing is, Hassan, if you are so angry and if you're so anti, then why even come over? Obviously, you have an interest. I don't know what it is. Obviously, I have attracted you to come over here because you're over here. Do you like talking to me? Do you like conversing with me? I'm just asking, Hassan, because you seem very intrigued, and I'm just asking. I'm just asking. Oh no, because Hassan, I don't give people that much time that I'm not interested in. I don't spend a lot of time with people who I don't care for. I don't. So I'm just wondering. I'm just wondering, Hassan. Am I wrong for wondering? Am I wrong for asking these questions? No, I'm thinking. I'm trying to think. What are you trying to make me think about, Hassan? What are you trying to make me think about? Are you trying to make me think? What are you trying to make me think about, Hassan? I'm curious. What are you trying to make me think about? I want to know what he's trying to make me think about. Hassan, what are you trying to make me think about? I just think that everybody has something. I think, I don't go over people's channels doing crazy stuff. I may ask a question or, but it is what it is. Because let me tell y'all what church people do now. I'm gonna tell you now. I'm not. This is no. Hassan. Okay. So, do you think that you ever like men? I'm just asking because you seem like to think it's a choice. So if it's a choice, because you think that I can just make the choice. So if I can make a choice to like women, do you think you can make a choice to like men? Because it is a choice, right? And so if I made the choice to be gay, I guess you made the choice to be heterosexual. So do you think you can like men? No, I'm not sick at all. I'm not sick at all. I actually went to the doctor a couple of times and I'm doing quite well for a 53-year-old man. I ain't sick at all. So we can check that off. The psychologist, fine. I had to take a psychological test to be a chaplain, and they want to make sure if you're, well balanced and you're normal. So I passed that. I got my clinical pastoral education. So yeah, I kind of passed that. So psychologically, I'm okay, and physically, I'm all right. I mean, I got to get glasses because as you get older, your eyes. But other than that, Hassan, I'm not sick. I'm doing quite well. What is normal? What is normal? So you're saying that God is making abnormal people now? So you're saying that God is making abnormal people? So you're saying God is making abnormal people now? Oh, okay. Because if it's not a choice, and I'm not, no, that means that God made somebody abnormal. So I guess those intersex people who have both genitals, I guess they're abnormal too. I get because God made them. They here. That's how they came. So yeah. No, you said I was sick. You said it's a sickness, and I'm telling you I'm not sick, and I'm telling you I had to take a psychological evaluation to be in chaplaincy. So if I failed that, I wouldn't have gotten my chaplaincy certification. So I'm just telling you I'm not sick. I don't know what psychologist do you use? I'm just asking. Man and a woman is normal. So Hassan, what about those intersex people? They're both man and woman. So they're abnormal. I'm just asking because there are intersex people. There are people who have both genitals. So I'm trying to figure out, are they abnormal too? I'm just wondering because You sound pretty secure in that. No, the devil made him. No, no. How can you give what God made to the devil? Huh, that's interesting. Hassan, Hassan, uh, Hassan. I don't know who you are, but you know what? If you have a religion that really likes people, then you should be praying for folk. Hassan. Okay, it's abnormal to you. How you think is not normal to me because I don't think you are logically thinking. I think you probably are in group think and you don't think for yourself. But hey, that's totally up to you. But it seems like my being abnormal, let's go with that, is bothering you. And Hassan, I got a question for you. I don't even know you, Hassan. Hassan, you don't pay my mortgage. Hassan, I don't pay your mortgage. I don't think I've ever spoken to you, Hassan. I don't think I know you in person. So, how is me being abnormal an issue with you? Can you answer that? How is my being abnormal, since you say I'm not normal, but how is my being abnormal an issue with you? How does it affect your life personally? Now, I'm in Texas, Hassan. I don't know where you are, but I'm in Texas. So I'm trying to figure out how my being abnormal has affected you. Could you tell me? Betty White, you know, as a chaplain, you got to take those psychological tests because they don't want you being crazy up in there. I'm just asking Hassan, how does it affect you? Oh, no, I'm not bringing religion into this. This is my religion. And I have a freedom of expression. I live in the United States. So I don't live in Afghanistan. I don't live in Iran. I live in America. And in America, if I want to worship a chicken, that's my right. I can worship a chicken. You see what I'm saying? Long as my religion is not adversely affecting someone else, meaning, it's harming someone physically or doing this. So, yeah. So, how is my belief affecting you? Because I have a right and a freedom of religion, Hassan. I mean, I live in America. Do you live in America? Do you live in America, Hassan? Well, okay then. So my thing is, you don't see me telling you you don't have to believe like you believe because you're an American, right? So my thing is, people have the right of religion, and I have a right of that, and you can't take my right away just because you don't like it. And I'm only saying because you're not even a Christian, but yet you're telling me that I should even bring my form of Christianity to this. And that's why I'm asking you, you're not even a Christian. So my thing is, how is that affecting you? I'm not even in your religious sphere. I don't know what religion you are, but I'm not in your religion. So how is it affecting you? You do, but I'm asking you a question. How is it affecting you? How is my thought on religion and religion expression? How is it affecting you? I live in Texas. I don't know where you live. How is it affecting you? Can you not pay your rent because of how I believe? Are you having problems in your marriage or relationship because of me? Am I taking food out your mouth? I'm just wondering how me being same gender loving is adversely affecting you because you seem like you're taking it very personally. So I'm asking you, how is this personally affecting your life? That's the question. And I haven't gotten an answer. Can you give me an answer? I'm enjoying this conversation, Hassan, but I'm really waiting for an answer. Oh no, let that man speak. Let Hassan speak. Hassan is welcome here. I'm just really trying to find out what his real problem is, because he has a problem, and I'm just trying to help the man out. So Hassan, what is really bothering you? Because something is bothering you, Hassan. Now don't get quiet on me now, but I'm just asking, has my same gender loving and believing in God caused you to lose your job? Did it cause your company to lay folk off? No, but don't. I want to hear from him. I want to hear from him, Patricia, because it seems like this is personal. And if I have done something personally to him, if me being gay and loving Jesus has caused him some personal harm, then I want to know what it is. Oh, you don't have a problem. You having fun. That's what it is. Okay, so this is your way of having fun. Oh, okay. Well, that's interesting. Well, it's good to know. At least we know your angle. I'm not bothered, but it seems like it was almost personal. So I was just trying to figure it out. What you were trying to do is get me angry. What you were trying to do is get me to cuss you out. But I'm not that type of person, Hassan, because again, if me being gay and loving Jesus causes you a problem, I want to know what it is, because it seemed like it was causing you some real problems. And I just wanted to make sure. I just wanted to make sure. Well, we know that Hassan was having fun. Ain't God good? Hassan was just having fun. That's all he wanted to come over here and do, is have some fun. All right. Hey, Zahara, thank you. I appreciate it, you all. I'm just saying, because if me being gay is causing you some personal issues, then I want to know what it is. You know, I know me loving Jesus and being gay causes some people issues because they have some beliefs that don't align. It don't align with what they think, but what they think don't have nothing to do with me. So yeah, but I just wanted to make sure. Now you look, y'all, I got to get ready to go for this holiday festivities. Thank you, the truth. Oh, Hassan. All right, Hassan, thank you. But you're being real rude right now. And it's okay to have a real conversation. But when you just want to be ugly because of that, and you said you ain't even a Christian. So I dealt with them as long as I need to speak with them. Patricia, you got to speak to the people. You got to speak to the people, Patricia. There ain't no need for me to get mad at folk. Why get mad at people? In 2024, I'm letting it go. Huh? Touch your neighbor and say in 2024, I'm letting it go. You don't like me? Okay, I'm let it go. Now you can hold it, but I'm not gonna sit here and hold it because baby, I got bigger things to do. Y'all sitting here holding stuff and it's weighing you down, and you wonder why you can't get up. Yeah, wonder why you can't fly and soar because you got too much weighing you down. Let these people go. Let them their thoughts about you go. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm delivered from the expectations of people. I'm. You don't like me? Okay, God bless you. You don't agree with me? Okay, God bless you. If we can't have a civil conversation about it, then move on. Move on. It's 2024. Let it go. We coming into a new season. We coming in. Let me say this: we are coming into a new season. I mean, and even this conversation with about TDJs. I don't hate Larry Reid. As a matter of fact, I don't even know Larry Reid, but I don't like how things are playing out because my thing is, if people are really predatory, how you're painting them to be, then do the right thing and turn that stuff over to the authorities. and let the authorities handle it. If you feel like you can't handle it, let the authorities handle it. But don't sit here and act like you got all of this and you dangling something and you getting clicks and views. And Manasseh's now getting ready to start get help from Grooming Network, because he's now going to be the expert on grooming and how it works. And let me tell you something, Manasseh, there's a lot of people in church who've gone through the same thing you've gone through, but what they're not getting ready to do is sit there and try to write a book and have all of this stuff and start a new ministry off of this and start sending people. If you want to be delivered from SA or whatever you're going through, send me $20 and God gonna deliver you. And please don't be sending. And I'm gonna say this: don't be selling people's emails and lists, because you know them lists are. Let me tell y'all something. I work for a magazine company, and boy, they got a whole lot of money off of them lists, because people who subscribe to their magazine, they had addresses and everything, and those lists are mighty important to people who are in sales and advertisement, and they get good money for those lists. So let me find out that you're selling people's information to get a piece of change. Y'all better start watching this stuff. Don't be stupid now. Now, I'm not saying you're doing that, Manasseh, but you know you have done robocalls according to those court documents, and you've been robocalling people, and you got a few documents, because them white folk down there in South Florida don't appreciate that. And they said, hey, I told you to stop calling, and you kept on calling them according to them court documents. And now they suing $100,000 and $170,000. This ain't 1,000. This is 100,000 and 170,000. And you got some long money. So all I'm telling you is stop turning people's pain into profit. Profit, and I meant PRFIT. I know how to spell profit, but it's profit, and that's all I'm saying. So my thing is, it's 2024. I'm letting it go. You got some self-actualization to do. You got some things to build up. And all I'm saying is, you know, we can't be ignorant on stuff like this. And I'm not exuberant about a whole lot of people, but I mean, it is what it is. And if TD Jakes is doing all of that stuff, then y'all need to do the right thing. Now, I'm not saying TD Jakes is doing anything, but stop messing up that man's reputation. The longer you know, and let me say this, the longer people hold this out, the more it the more pressure it is on TD Jakes. And again, TD Jakes probably have backers and supporters and people who support him at different levels. And when people hear this kind of news, then it gives people self-doubt and they start backing out and stuff. And TD Jakes knows this. He's a businessman. He ain't dumb. And TD Jakes is going to do everything he can to protect that ministry. Now, I'm not saying he's innocent, and I'm not saying he's guilty. He's going to do everything he can to protect that ministry. And that's all I'm saying on that. So, look, y'all have a good night. Y'all have a happy new year. Please be safe. If you're going to drink, please don't drive. Call a Uber, call a friend, call a taxi. I don't even know if y'all need to be sleeping over people's houses. All of these allegations going. I don't even know if y'all need to sleep over somebody's house. I'm telling you, all these allegations going on. So just be safe. And if you're in a place where there's crowded, just be alert, be vigilant. Don't, keep your eyes open. Keep your eyes open. So I'm just saying saying that to you all. hmm Patricia, I had a cousin, and they had a church on Jamaica Avenue too. And I used to go to my cousin's church all the time. I can't tell you what church it is because it was a pretty big church. But I had a cousin from Florida, and he had a big old church, big old church. It was a theater, and you walk in that joker, it was huge, but it was on Jamaica too. I used to go to Jamaica, Queens to go to his church. I was living in Kew Gardens at the time, and then went that far. So I would take the little train on over there and go on to the church. So, hey, Y'all have a good one. Peace and love. I will be talking to y'all later.